Wealthy guests sat comfortably at white tablecloth tables, dressed in designer suits, elegant dresses, and expensive watches. Some were celebrating business deals. Others were enjoying romantic dinners. Many had arrived in luxury cars and were used to being treated like VIPs wherever they went. This was the kind of place where every guest was treated like royalty. Or at least, that's how it was supposed to be. Waiters moved smoothly between tables, carrying plates that looked like pieces of art. The smell of fresh bread, rich sauces, and grilled meat filled the air. Everything about this restaurant was designed to make people feel important, special, and respected. That night, however, something unexpected was about to happen. The large wooden doors slowly opened. A man walked in alone. No security guards followed him. No cameras flashed. No assistants rushed behind him. He wasn't wearing a designer suit. He didn't have a shiny watch. He didn't carry himself like a celebrity. He wore simple jeans, a neat sweater, and glasses. His hair was well combed, and his expression was calm and relaxed. He looked like an ordinary professional who had just finished a long day of work and wanted a peaceful meal. He walked in with quiet confidence, looked around for a moment, and took in the atmosphere. Most people didn't even notice him. Those who did only glanced for a second before returning to their conversations. To them, he was just another customer, nothing special, nothing exciting. No one stood up. No one whispered. No one reached for their phone. They had no idea who he was. It was Elon Musk. Elon walked slowly through the large wooden doors and paused for a moment, taking in the scene around him. The restaurant was full. Every table was occupied. Soft golden lights reflected off shining glassware and polished plates. Waiters moved carefully between guests, balancing trays filled with beautifully arranged dishes. The gentle sound of laughter and quiet conversations created a calm, elegant atmosphere. Some people were celebrating birthdays. Some were closing business deals. Others were simply enjoying the evening. Everyone seemed comfortable. Everyone seemed important. Elon adjusted his glasses slightly and walked toward the reception desk. He didn't rush. He didn't demand attention. He didn't expect special treatment. He waited politely until the host looked up. Then, in a calm and respectful voice, he said, "Hi, I'd like a table for one, please." The host looked up slowly. At first, he smiled out of habit. Then his eyes began to scan Elon from head to toe. From his simple shoes, to his plain jeans, to his quiet sweater, to his ordinary watch. No designer suit. No expensive watch. No flashy accessories. No signs of wealth. Just a normal man standing politely in front of him. The host's smile slowly faded. His posture changed. His shoulders stiffened. His face became serious. His voice lost its warmth. For a few seconds, he said nothing. The silence felt uncomfortable. Then, in a cold and distant tone, he asked, "Do you have a reservation?" Elon nodded slightly. "No," he replied honestly, "but I was hopping." Before he could finish his sentence, the host raised his hand slightly and cut him off. "This place is very busy tonight," he said. Then, after a short pause, he added, "We usually serve important guests." That word hung in the air. Important. It wasn't loud. It wasn't shouted. But it was sharp. It was clear. It was judgment. Some nearby guests noticed. A woman at the next table looked up briefly. A man near the bar raised an eyebrow. A waiter passing by slowed his steps. They felt the tension. They heard the tone. They understood what was happening. Elon heard it too. For a brief moment, he paused. Not in anger. Not in surprise. Just in quiet awareness. He knew exactly what the host meant. You don't look like you belong here. You don't look rich enough. You don't look important enough. But instead of reacting, Elon did something unexpected. He smiled. Not a fake smile. Not a nervous one. A calm, gentle smile. I don't mind waiting, he said softly. No attitude. No complaint. No argument. Just patience. The host looked at him again. This time with slight annoyance. He glanced around the room, as if searching for an excuse. Then, after a long and uncomfortable pause, he pointed toward a small table in the corner. Near the kitchen. Near the swinging doors. Near the noise. Fine, he said. Sit there. Not please. Not sir. Not welcome. Just fine. Elon nodded politely. Thank you, he replied. He picked up the menu and walked toward the table without saying another word. As he passed by, people watched quietly. Some felt uncomfortable. Some felt sorry for him. Some pretended not to notice. They had seen this before. Someone judged by appearance. Someone pushed aside. Someone treated as less. The tone wasn't polite. It wasn't professional. It wasn't respectful. It was judgment. Pure and simple. And the worst part, the host had no idea who he had just spoken to. He had no idea that the man he placed near the kitchen had changed industries, launched rockets into space, and influenced the future of technology. To him, Elon was just another unimportant customer. But life has a strange way of revealing truth. And sometimes, the biggest lessons come when people least expect them. Because what happened next was about to make everyone in that restaurant rethink everything. And things were about to get much worse. A young waiter soon arrived at Elon's table, but instead of greeting him kindly, he looked annoyed. What do you want? The waiter asked. Elon replied. Could I see the menu, please? The waiter sighed loudly and dropped the menu on the table. Then he said something no customer should ever hear. Just so you know, this isn't a cheap place. If you're looking for fast food, there are places outside. Some guests nearby stopped talking. They heard it. Elon paused for a moment. Then calmly said, I'm fine here, thank you. The waiter laughed quietly and walked away. A few minutes later, he returned and said, Are you ready, or are you still deciding if you can afford this? That was the insult. The room felt tense. People were uncomfortable. Some looked angry, others were confused. But Elon didn't raise his voice. He didn't get angry. He didn't argue. Instead, he smiled and said something unexpected. I'll take the chef's special, and please bring your manager. The waiter froze. Why? He asked nervously. Elon replied gently. I'd like to compliment the service. The waiter walked away, unsure. A few minutes later, the manager arrived. Good evening, sir. Is there a problem? Elon calmly explained everything. No shouting. No exaggeration, just facts. The rude tone. The insults. The disrespect. The manager's face slowly changed. Then he asked, May I ask your name, sir? Elon replied, Elon. The manager smiled politely. And your last name? Musk. Silence. A guest nearby dropped their fork. Someone whispered, Wait, Elon Musk. Phones quietly came out. The manager's face turned pale. He immediately apologized. I'm so sorry, Mr. Musk. We had no idea. Elon shook his head. That's not the point, he said. You shouldn't treat people well only when they're famous. The entire restaurant went silent. The waiter stood frozen. The manager turned to him and said, Go to my office, now. Later, guests learned the waiter was suspended and sent for training. Not fired. Trained. Because Elon didn't want revenge. He wanted change. After dinner, Elon paid the bill. But he didn't stop there. He left a tip larger than the meal. And with it a note. Everyone deserves respect. Someone took a photo of the receipt. It went viral. Millions shared the story. Comments flooded in. This is real class. True billionaire mindset. Money didn't change his values. Elon never talked about it publicly. He didn't need to. His actions spoke louder than words. This story reminds us of something important. You never know who you're talking to. You never know what someone is going through. And you never lose anything by being kind. Respect is free. Kindness is powerful. And character is everything. So next time you meet someone, remember, don't judge by clothes. Don't judge by status. Don't judge by money. Judge by heart.